How to create entities with structured data. So this is vital. When you properly create and structure your entities, your corporate structure, in America, it's either limited partnerships, LLCs, S Corps, or C Corps. When you create them in a very structured way that they actually interact and contract together, you win big. So first of all, let's talk about entities structured with data. Like, this is not a guessing game, and it's not for you to just go to your Secretary of State and set up an entity because you heard me talk about it. This is, you go to a tax strategist first that we have hired and trained to put on our teams, and then you get your corporate structure following the tax plan. And it's not just, oh, I have a piece of real estate, so I should get an LLC in my state. Maybe, depends on the state you're in. Some states are better than others. So let's talk about a few things. What does properly structured entities actually do? What's the benefit to you? Number two, why do most people get them wrong when they set them up, and then they have to pay us to fix them because their entities are not in any alignment? And last, how do you set it up the right way? How do you set up your corporate structure, your entity structure, which defines your tax planning completely? So first, let's give a definition to entity with structured data. It means that you're choosing the right legal vehicle for your income to come into based on your risk profile, your wealth goals, what that company does. Like, if you're in the state of California, New York, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, a few different states, you got it really rough because you got all sorts of taxes that the rest of us in other states like Nevada, Texas, Wyoming, Florida don't pay. So you've got to actually set up the right entities and then the right accounts and the right credit card. So it's a whole structure of restructuring how most of you have done this. And what's sad for most of you is there's so little of this training until this YouTube channel came along. You sort of had to guess at it. So if you guessed at it, let us review it. So what do properly structured entities do with the right data is, number one, it's not you. It has its own EIN, its own tax ID number. So you have your social security number, and then company one's has that, which means it has its own corporate credit score. And then you can set up another one and another one. But again, you just don't go randomly set them up. One might be a management company. Right? Some people call them a holding company. One might be an operating company. One might be for your investments or your assets. So structured right, but it's back end completely informed by your tax. How you make your money. Point of nexus is, again, a big piece of, if you make money, you have to file that operating company in that state. Who pays for your kids? Your kids are tax write-offs. If you don't have any kids, you should get them. I haven't said that line in a long time, so you need them because you can be employed, your kids can be employed. And by doing the structure proper, informed by a tax strategist, you unlock the greatest tax code the world has ever seen, 81 to 83,000 pages. The big, beautiful bill even is expanded even more. I love it. It's so exciting. And the biggest thing for all of you is, if you are employed, keep your job, but you have to have an operating company, not just some passive real estate investing, which some people think that's enough. It's not. And even if you have a lot of real estate, like I have a client, he's doing $1 million a month just in cash flow from all the rentals, got a massive portfolio. It's all set up in LLCs. There's no management. There's no operating. In those kind of situations, I would become the property management company, which then informs another way that you can do deductions. See, the whole goal when you're properly structured is that you take all these personal expenses for you, and you start moving them into business deductions strategically, again, informed by a tax strategist, not a typical historian CPA who takes all of your information and say, oh, this is what you're going to pay in taxes. We're not talking about this. We're talking about being in front of it all. Why most people get it wrong is because you know you need it. You've heard from somebody you need it. It's usually from other people's opinions. And your friend might have said, oh, I'm going to go set up an LLC. I heard Loral talks about LLCs. I'm going to go set it up. You go to the Secretary of State, and even just clicking the wrong button. Let's just say you set up an LLC. Well, how are you going to tax it? Who's informing you on, do you tax it as an S Corp? Do you tax as a C? Do you tax as a sole proprietor? Do you tax as a partnership? You have all these choices to make. So here you are on the Secretary of State. Yeah, it's cheaper, but you're going with no strategy, with no plan. And then you just hope you click the right buttons and you get it right. And then the other part of structuring your entity is you have to remember every year they need to be renewed. So there's a cost to renewal every year. There's a cost to filing a tax return every year. And a lot of you just think this is like a workaround you have to behave in it properly to get the full benefits. And that's what we do. So I'm going to have you download the Millionaire Maker. I want you to read up to chapter 3, do a gap analysis. It's where you are and what do you want. And if you can't fill it all out, you don't want to put the information on this internet machine, then just know what it is, call our office, get a one-on-one appointment, and verbally give the information. Where are you? What do you make? Where are your assets? Where are your gaps? The entire intent of this is to help us see you and then say, all right, well, these are the 3 or 4 or 5 things. And typically taxes and corporate structure and lack of corporate structure, right? Corporate structure is where we lean in and we are experts at. So as you set up your company, then you also need to set up the right bookkeeping and accounting systems. So you're tracking your personal versus your business, and your business is inside of a company. Remember, in America, the company makes money, activates the greatest tax code, then you pay tax. So companies make money, individuals get taxed. Now, if you want to learn more about finance, I've just started a new site called AskBookkeepingCoach.com with a client of mine. Brilliant. It's an 8-week course on finance for non-finance business people and just people. So look at that course. It's an absolute phenomenal 8 weeks and worth your time for 8+ hours to really learn. If you want to be successful, the more you learn, the more you're going to know, the more you're actually going to be able to lead your life. And the other thing I would just say about tax and corporate structure is you're not an expert. So why are you making expert decisions? You don't do your own surgery. Right? So why are you thinking you can actually make these kind of sophisticated decisions when there is people who actually plan and have been trained meticulously for it? So the other thing I want you to grab from the show notes is 2 tickets to our Millionaire Intensive. We do it once a month from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We talk about how do you become a 3 to 5 year millionaire, and then why you need these operating companies so vitally in your life for you and your family legacy. Now, while you're here, I want you to subscribe to my channel, click that notification button, be here 5 days a week, and actually pay attention. Grab the journal. I give that away in every show notes. The journal is what day it is, what video you watch, what you learn, what you're going to do. So in 365 days, you have a plan, and start sharing this information with those in your family. If you're going to create a legacy, that means all those people that you're going to give your money away to and all your assets to and all the things in your life to, they better know what to do with them. Why would you have accumulated all this and then create trust fund babies, number one, who's just going to sell it, create a tax problem, or worse, like dissolve the entire estate? So do this mindfully, do it with an intention, and do it with a strategy. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how do you set up the entities the right way? You don't do them. You come to us through that gap analysis session, have a one-on-one session. You become a client. I'm going to assign you to a tax strategist, and then we're going to talk to them. That'll inform structured entities, of which then we'll get your entity structured. If you already have a bunch of entities and you don't know how to use them, we'll start there. We'll get them in compliance to make sure you know what you're doing. And then the way that our strategy works is your assets are held in companies, your companies are held in trust, loaded with the right kind of life insurance. You got a legacy plan. If you have any questions while you're thinking about this, here's what I would say. Most of you are going to walk away from all these videos and say, I'm going to think about it. You don't know how to think about it. Like, this is you leaning in, getting a mentor, getting a mastermind community of people who do this all day long. So you can be out there on your own, or you can be in a community of people who this is what we do all day for you and your families and your legacy. If you have any questions, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL. Ask a question, make a request. We'll be back tomorrow.